Hello gamers and welcome back. I'm Rob, of course, or Warshack if you want to call me by my in-game name, and we're going to be doing a deck guide on the N'Zoth Control Warrior, one of my favorite decks to play right now. Granted that Control Warrior has always been my favorite kind of deck to play. Unfortunately, we don't have the old style Control Warrior with Jeskar Trueheart and stuff like that anymore. We've been reverted back to kind of like the N'Zoth build, which was actually like a build that was not as, it was popular, but not as popular as the, the OG Control Warrior, but still a very fun deck to play. Basically, you're trying to do the same thing with just a little bit different. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with the deck guides, we go ahead and we talk about the deck, why I have what I have in the deck, and then from there we'll go into some ranked games we'll play. I'll explain to you the mulligans you're looking for, how to play the deck, and then of course the matchups that we get paired against, kind of like how you want to navigate those games. So with that, let's talk about the deck and why I have what I have in here. First card's Blood to Ichor. This is basically your ability to, it actually has two tools. First of all, using it on Alkali to Pain or on one of your minions to be able to battle rage to draw more cards is really important. So you'll find that you'll probably be using Blood to Ichor on your own minions just as much as you'll be using on your opponent's minions. Also against aggro decks, being able to Blood to Ichor one of your opponent's minions, whether it is to kill it, activate Sleep with the Fishes, execute, or to just summon a minion to contest it the following turn is really important. And the reason that the Blood Mage is in the deck, which is kind of a couple cards down, but I'm going to talk about it, is because it combos well with Blood to Ichor, Slam, and Sleep with the Fishes. Plus, it's a Death Rattle, which means it comes back with N'Zoth, and it's a good Barnes target. So it's basically it helps a variety of different things. It has multiple different uses. It's not just in the deck for one specific purpose. It has, it has flexibility in there. So that's why there's two Blood to Ichors, combos well. It does die if your opponent plays Geist, but that's okay because it's not the strongest card in the deck. It's built for aggro, and if your opponent plays Geist, they're probably playing Control, which means you don't want this card anyway. Battle Rage, again, is kind of your draw mechanic, really good in the deck. Due to the fact that you have a ton of different ways to do one damage to things, whether it's Blood to Ichor, Ravaging Ghoul, the Blood Razor, stuff like that. Blood Mage, we've explained. There's one Dead Man's Hand and only one. Two is way too much. This is not a Fatigue Warrior. You're not trying to Dead Man's Hand to infinitely run your opponent out of resources. This deck doesn't need that. You want one Dead Man's Hand, and then when you get N'Zoth in your hand, along with some other cards like Brawl, Execute, Shield Blocks, maybe a couple Death Rattles, depending on your opponent and what you're looking for, you Dead Man's Hand that, you bring back, you have two N'Zoths, and that's normally well over what most decks can deal with, due to the fact N'Zoth is going to bring back the Direhorn Hatchling. Then when the Hatchlings dies, they shuffle the Matriarch in your deck, which is the 5-mana 6/9 taunt. So they're going to have to deal with so many Death Rattle cards, not only extending you out of fatigue because it puts cards back in your deck, but they're going to have to deal with two boards in N'Zoth. And when they clear the board, you're also going to have Mountain Fire Armors, which are going to give you armor. You're going to have Karen Bloodhoofs, so you're going to resurrect more minions. There's just a ton of value. Only one Dead Man's Hand is needed because it's a dead card unless you're playing against a control deck, at which point you're trying to shuffle, of course, the N'Zoth back into your deck to get two N'Zoths. Execute, that's a staple in any warrior deck. Destroy a damaged enemy minion. Blood to Ichor, any whirlwind effect, you trading into it, slams, you name it. Execute triggers, a really good card to use with combination with Dead Man's Hand so you can get more executes. Slam, combos with Blood Mage, like I mentioned, 2 mana, deal 2 damage to a minion. If it survives, you draw a card, so if you don't kill it, you get the cycle back. But most of the time, you're using Slam to be able to execute something, trade into it. If you're playing against an aggro deck, slamming a minion that only has 2 HP just to kill it is fine because you're going 1 for 1. The thing is, let's say you slam a minion, it doesn't die, you've went 1 for 0, but you get to draw the card, so it's totally okay. Sleep with the Fishes is your mid-game AoE. This allows you to deal with most aggro decks very, very efficiently. You play cards like the Blood Razor or the Ravaging Ghoul and pair with Sleep with the Fishes. You clear off your opponent's enemy board. You use, 1.5 cards because it's the Battle Cry with the Ravaging Ghoul is attached to the minion, so you still get the 3/3 body, and the Blood Razor still has 2 charges on it. So this is just a fantastic card right now. Keep in mind it's to all minions, including your own. You can use this, let's say you go with the Alkalite, you could go with like the Alkali to Pain, Blood Razor, Sleep. You draw 2 cards from Alkalite because you actually deal damage to it twice, because Sleep with the Fishes actually does damage, it just doesn't remove it like Execute does. The Alkali to Pain, you get to draw basically up to 3 cards based on how much damage this minion takes. So if it takes 3 damage, basically 1 damage over the course of however many turns, you're good, but most of the time your opponent's going to do what they can to make sure this dies in just one hit, so you only get to draw one card. So a lot of times you're comboing this card with cards like Blood to Ichor, Ravaging Ghoul, and your Blood Razor. Keep in mind you can slam this card to draw 2 cards, and yeah, just a pretty annoying card, and it's also a good Barnes target. Basically does the same thing as Blood Mage without the spell power. Mountain Fire Armor is your kind of early game beater. It's a 3 mana 4/3, so it has a lot of attack for only 3 mana. It has 3 HP, which is still pretty decent. And it says Death Rattle. If your opponent's turn and this card dies, you gain 6 armor, which means they're going to want to kill this card because they don't want you just attacking freely with a 4 attack minion every turn to their face, because eventually they'll die. And they also don't want you being able to attack maybe their more valuable minions on the board. So a lot of the time your opponent will use cards like Frostbolt and things like that to get rid of this card, and you end up gaining 6 armor, which is pretty nice. Plus it gets brought back again. If you have Barnes, it's a good card to bring back with Barnes, or just N'Zoth in general. The Ravaging Ghoul, we explained why. Staple in the deck, 2 of them is really, really good. Shield Block, again, another staple in the deck. You don't actually have to run Shield Slam with Shield Block, because this has a lot, like, how do I explain this? Just Shield Slam isn't really needed right now because there's a lot of Geist running around, or Geist, or however you want to say it, so it's going to destroy those. On top of that, against a lot of the aggro decks, you won't have a lot of armor, and Execute just fills the spot better. So you have your Execute for your big single target removal, and then you have Sleep with the Fishes and Brawl for your AoE. So it's kind of like you don't need Shield Slam at the moment. Not to say you could replace Blood to Ichors with Shield Slam and you'll do fine too. I just found that Shield Slams don't work as well against aggro as like a Blood to Ichor does, because it's so cheap and it generates a minion. But your preference. Barnes only can have one of them in the deck because it's legendary, and you get to summon a 1/1 copy of a random minion in your deck. The best minion you could possibly summon most of the time is Karen, because it's going to summon a 1/1, he dies, and then he summons a 4/5. Huge tempo swing. But secondary best are like Direhorn Hatchling, because it puts the 5 mana 6/8 in your deck with taunt. Another good one, like I said, is Alkalita Pain, or Blood Mage, because you get to draw a card. And then like the Mountain Fire Armor is decent too, because you get to gain 6 armor. Blood Razor, 2 of these guys, definitely. It's your only 2 weapons in the deck, unfortunately. Maybe we can fit in a Gorehowl if we really want to, because weapon destruction is pretty limited right now, because there's not a lot of Pirate Warriors out, so Gluttonous Ooze isn't really being played because of the Fiery War Axe nerf. So you probably get away with running like a Gorehowl in this deck, depending on how greedy you are. Eater of Secrets is kind of the tech spot of the deck, so you don't really need Eater. You can replace it with other things. Same with Blood Mage. I just found it worked pretty good. So like Blood Mage and Eater are kind of like your 2 spots. You can add in what you want. Mind Control techs, Gorehowls, Silence. I've chosen Eater of Secrets and Blood Mage, but it's kind of up to you. But anyway, Blood Razor, really good. It has the Whirlwind effect built in twice, plus a 2/2 weapon. It fits well in the deck. Double Brawl staple. This is your large scale, basically AoE removal. Only 1 minion lives. So if we play against like Shaman or Tempo Rogue, or any sort of like an aggro druid, any sort of deck that relies on having a large quantity of minions on the board, and they go wide, you brawl, you sleep with the fishes, takes care of them. Direhorn Hatchling is kind of what makes the death rattles in this deck so good. To be honest, if Direhorn Hatchling wasn't a card, I don't think this deck would work, because being able to have not only a 5 mana 3/6 taunt, but shuffling that 6/9 into your deck is so, like, the 6/9 is so good. And the fact that you're, over the course of, if you're playing a control match, and you may bring back 2 N'Zoths, which means you're probably going to play at least 6 Direhorn Hatchlings, which means you're adding 6 card to your deck, and you're adding 6 5 mana 6/9s. Most decks just can't deal with that. Like, they have to deal with N'Zoth, every other minion in the deck, Direhorns, your armor, your AoE, and then 6 plus 6/9s, yeah, the hell plus Karen. It's just too much for most decks to deal with. Karen's in the deck because he's just a really good death rattle, really good against Priest because he has 4 attack. He's really annoying to deal with, so if you N'Zoth and you bring back 2 Karens or something like that, it's just, even if the Dragonfire Potion, a 4/5 still lives, so it's just a really kind of annoying card that only can be answered with cards like Polymorph, Hex, Devolve, and stuff like that. And of course the N'Zoth, absolutely a staple in the deck. This is why you play the deck. Without N'Zoth, this deck doesn't really work. So again, that really wraps up our deck list, why I have what we have in here. Let's head into some ranked games so I can show you how much fun this deck is, and kind of how effective it is. Alrighty, so heading into our first game here, we're going to be playing against a Shaman. Alright, this is pretty good. So normally this deck performs better against aggro or mid-range decks than it does against other control decks, due to the fact that it does require you to have N'Zoth and Deadmans and then shuffle back N'Zoth. But against aggro, it's really pretty good. I think I'm going to keep Barnes and Ravaging Ghoul. Barnes is pretty good if we pull out like a Karen or something like that, and the Ravaging Ghoul is good in combination with like Sleep with the Fishes. Because there's no Fiery War Axe anymore, this deck definitely does hurt more in the early game than it did prior to the, you know, nerfs. No Fiery War Axe equal hurt me real bad. It looks like he got a fairly slow start too, just the hero power into the 1/1. So we actually could go, I don't think I would rather coin into Barnes, but also coining into Mountain Fire is pretty good. And also coining into Ravaging Ghoul is pretty good, but I think I'm just gonna hero power and go with the coin into Barnes. It's a much more powerful play if we pull out something good. Even an Acolyte of Pain would be pretty good. Blood Mage is good. You know, really anything. And looks like a coin into a blood. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go coin Blood Razor instead. Because now we can kill the Mana Tide and kill the 1/1. Next turn's Barnes. All good in the hood. We still don't know if he's playing the Evolved Shaman or more of a Control Shaman. He's played nothing. Mana Tide. Another Mana Tide. Okay, so the question is, do we attack into this or do we just hold off and just Barnes? I kind of just... We really don't want it to live. Alright, let's Barnes into something juicy. Acolyte of Pain is cool. It's a 4-mana 3/4 draw 1 card. Jade Lightning, okay. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and trade here and see what we get, and then from there just drop Sarah. Dead Man's in this matchup is pretty useless. Doppelganger Evolve. Anything really good? Not exponentially. Whenever this attacks a minion and survives, he gets to draw a card. We could just go ahead and brawl, but I don't know. So Slam is gonna do 3, so we could... Like, Brawl just does not seem, because if an 8/8 lives, we're still kind of in the same situation we were. So I think I'm gonna go with the Blood Mage. Let's hit this with a Slam and see what happens. Okay. Do we want to Blood to Icor that and trade there? It's kind of like the same thing, right? This seems like it'd be pretty annoying. I'm not really scared of that 8/8 too much due to the fact that it gets frozen as soon as it attacks. And I really don't want to brawl yet because his board really, like, having 3 minions and the 8/8 lives, we're still in a bad situation. Like, I'd rather brawl when he has like 4 minions out, which we know eventually he will have because he still has another Doppelganger Evolve and he still has Thrall. So, so I kind of like holding my brawl there. And I also don't want a Dead Man's Hand while Eater of Secrets is in my hand. That's just really bad. I don't mind Dead Man's Handing with the Brawl, you know, Ravaging Ghoul and N'Zoth. Those are all good Dead Man's Hand. But this guy is really bad. And then the 8/8 goes face. See, if he plays like some more minions here, we actually might just Brawl. Yeah, this is a brawlable board. So now there's 2. Oh my god, is he really going to 8 damage into a 1/1? No fucking way. I was about to say, man. Yeah, that's kind of, it's a little bit, a little crazy there, you know what I'm saying? So we can go with the Dire Horn because it actually contests this. We know this can't even attack because if we brawl now, I'm gonna be even greedier. I am one greedy player. Because he's going to have to use another Jade Lightning, he's going to have to devolve, he's going to have to do something here, and he's going to extend more onto the board. Because he's going to assume, like, oh, if he had Brawl, he would have used it. Do we want to Brawl? first, or do we want to throw down a minion and then brawl? So there's a higher chance that one of our minion lives. Just gonna brawl. I have faith that not a huge minion will live. Gotta have faith, man. There we go. Gotta have a little faith. So we know he has one more Doppelganger Evolve. He still has Thrall. He still has some good stuff left. Fire Elemental? What in tarnation? What in tarnation? Alright, so we want to draw into a Sleep of the Fishes. That'll be really nice. Slam. Slam's okay. Oh man, I will. So, I was slamming thinking that. Damn it. I didn't think that we would have ripped the sleep off the top. I didn't plan for that. So, what we should have done, knowing that we would have got sleep, was slam this dude. It goes down to 3. We drop Ravaging Ghoul. We sleep. We kill everything. But I had planned if we don't draw sleep, then I would have just gone with this play here and then use like a brawl next turn or something. So he's like a control Pokemon elemental. Does he high roll on the Ravaging Ghoul? No. Okay, that's just good. Not sure if he plays Bloodlust or not, but it's something to take into account. Okay, so there's the Thrall. Let's see what he gets. Hopefully nothing too crazy. An 8/8 and a 4/3. That's gonna buff cards in his hand, which really isn't that great. Oh shit, he has another Revolve. Okay, that's actually, I wouldn't have done that. All right, so we're gonna bring back 1 Sarah and 1 Mountain Fire Armor. I don't think that's necessarily worth it.
Maybe... No.
Nothing we can really do there. No great field clears. He's just going to attack face with the 8 and then just evolve it. But I didn't want to be prone to like a Lust. And we still have creatures down too. So depending on what he plays, maybe we get off a Battle Rage. If we draw Blood Razor, we get off a Battle Rage. So there's the face. Here's the evolve. Hopefully he gets dog poo poo. That is dog poo poo. We might even see like a... Okay. Devolve actually buffs my board slightly. Okay. Again, if we drop, I need to kill this guy. Because if he evolves, like, nothing's good when this thing's gonna die. So let's do this. Let's drop this. Throw down the hero power. I think I'm fairly safe. I mean, I guess he could Jade Claws. The highest he could push would be 4, 5, 9. I'm at 13. And he needs 4 more, which means he needs a Charger. So I guess if he attacks face, swings Jade Claws, and then evolves this into a Korkron, we would lose. And the thing is, I can't N'Zoth yet because it's only 2 minions. I need at least 3. I need at least 3, man. Alright, the question is, do I swing into here and then Battle Rage, look for taunts and shield blocks? Or do I go ahead and swing into here, brawl? Or do I just brawl now? Like, I don't mind brawling now, because we're dead to a Lust. We play N'Zoth. We play N'Zoth, we attack the 1/4, we get 1 taunt out. We're not technically dead. But I would actually want to attack this card so we can bring back another dude, but then we're really dead to Bloodlust, because then this 1/4 could swing in. Well, he'd swing in with here, and then these 2 face. This would be 3, this would be a. Oh, man.
I gotta move.
Ugh. Alright, I think this was a little bit better. We're not dead to Lust. We got 2 creatures on the board. That was a rough turn. This is a... Next turn, we're definitely using N'Zoth. So he has 5. Potentially has 8. He could Bloodlust and Jade Lightning, and we're dead. I just really wish we would have drawn shield blocks this game. Those make a really big difference. Because imagine, we'd be at 14 right now. I wouldn't be scared of that Lust. So he's going to evolve that, not a Charger. Okay, this is fine. He could play Aya. Aya would trigger twice. That'd be really annoying. Alright, so let's kill this off. Drop the N'Zoth. He's going to bring it back. We got a full board now. He could devolve this, but we're still going to get some good stuff. You know what I mean? Like, we're still going to get good stuff. And high chances are we get another taunt. And the reason why I didn't Dead Man's Hand is because I don't think it's needed. I think that's just game. Nice. Yeah, and the more mid-range or aggro matchups like this, we don't really need to get the double N'Zoth. It kind of just takes too long. It took long enough as is, just going for the 1 N'Zoth, looking to get a decent board, so. Oh, man. I just didn't know if he was running Bloodlust or not. And that would make or break that game. Because if you know they're not running Bloodlust, you know that the max burst they have is like Jade Lightning, right? Or like a Flame Tongue Totem. Alright, so a rogue, we're going to assume this is going to be the Tempo rogue. Asmo made pretty popular recently. And Dog also has like an elemental rogue-ish deck. So I think I'm going to keep these 2. I mean, Blood Razor is not that great because we don't have coin, but it's still pretty good. Okay. Man, it really sucks not having, like... I would probably play a 1 mana, 1 for a weapon in this deck. Like, I would play Light's Justice. If I could. Just because dealing 1 damage and having weapons is really important. Do I go ahead and play the Blood Mage just to get it out there? I think so. Plus, it's really nice cycle. Because it forces him to have to hero power. And we draw a card. It's all good. Mountain Fire on 3 is almost always the best play in this deck. Besides, like, let's say you have an Alkalite and then there's like a Ravaging Ghoul in your hand, or you have like a follow-up of the Blood Razor and your opponent has like a 1/1 out. Then obviously Alkalite could probably draw you 2 to 3 cards. But for the most part, this guy is a really good guy to throw out there. Backstab. This is good. So he got it back. We got a backstab out of the way. He's taking 4 to the dome, and we're gaining 6 armor. Sounds good. Now we Blood Razor. Both these die. And I don't think I'm going to attack with it because we have a slam in our hand. If we didn't draw the slam, I would have attacked face just so we have an activator for the Death Rattle for the Blood Razor. So coin 5 mana card. I'm not sure. It's pretty good. It's a good draw for us as well. So having N'Zoth is really cool, but also he could, if he runs Vanish, it could be a big issue. Shadow Stepping for the Slayer. Can't say I think that's worth it. I don't know about that play, man. That just seems really weird to me. So let's slam this, draw a card, kill it off, play Barnes. I was thinking about the Karen, but this puts more stuff on the board, and it allows us to get 2 cards down, hopefully 1 being a Death Rattle, like a Sarah, which is going to generate another Dire Horn in our deck. Plus, we don't want to relieve the Slayer up against with a Rogue deck, because we know he runs like cards like Shadowcaster, and he already used 1 Shadow Step, so we don't want to give him back another Slayer. We kind of want to kill that as soon as possible. We want to kill those cards ASAP. We could attack into here and only have this take 1 damage. The reason I'm doing this is because it leads into a good battle rage next turn. And also he can't backstab these anymore. So it kind of looks silly, but it works out really well. Okay. He's gonna kill one of them, but we're still gonna get 2 draws off battle rage. Let's Icor execute this. Let's trade into there. That's hero power. The reason I don't want to shield block is because we have a good turn next turn regardless. I like using shield block when my opponent thinks they're going to kill me and I have no armor gain. Like using 3 armor to draw, using 3 mana to draw a card and getting out this 2 mana right here, it's like it's just better based on this situation. We want him to kill the Karen, which is why I didn't mind trading there, because he's taking a lot of face damage regardless. Super dry turn from him. All right, so we'll go with this. I expect to see a vanish right here, so I really don't want to extend the Eater of Secrets because we're gonna have lethal next turn regardless. So I'm just gonna keep hero powering up. Like I'd rather gain 2 armor than summon a 4 mana 2/4 that's, you know, gonna get vanished anyway. Okay, no vanish. And it is the tempo rogue list. It's a lot of damage he just committed to there. So if we would have played the 2/4, we would have had 6/8. Still wouldn't have had lethal. 2 Sarahs have died and 1 Mountain Fire. So I think it's safe to play N'Zoth. N'Zoth is gonna bring back 2, 3 minions. So we have 4 spaces up plus Blood Mage, right? It's 2, 3, 4. Yeah, should be fine. Just wanted to make sure we weren't losing out on any Death Rattle minions. So I know we could Bone Mare that, but we have Execute in our hand, or I would have double traded. If we didn't have Execute, then I would have double traded into this Bone Mare. Nice. All right. Like I said, this deck performs. It really does pretty well at beating, you know, mid-range to aggro decks. Granted, we draw like a decent hand, you know. As long as we get like a 3-drop in there and a weapon, we're pretty good. Also drawing like Blood to Icors against aggro decks or Sleep with the Fishes, Ravaging Ghoul is really good. Has a lot of cycle, Alkali to Pains, Battle Rages, Shield blocks. All right, so another rogue, again, going to assume Tempo Rogue. I think I'm gonna keep, I like keeping Slam. I kind of like keeping the Execute as well, because they make a big Edwin. You know, this is the only way how to beat it. The only way to kill an Edwin in this deck is Execute. But the problem with holding the Execute is he's like more of the tempo-oriented deck. Then we get really punished because it kind of just sits in our hand and we're looking for other minions and draw mechanics. So I think I'm gonna throw it back, just because the tempo is more popular. The tempo doesn't make big Edwins as much as Miracle Rogue does. It's not as popular. Okay, nothing to do here. Most of the time, if they can play the Prince on turn 2 and then Shadow Step it and play the Prince again, those games are really, really hard to win. And the Prince gives all the creatures in their deck +1/+1. If they do that twice, it's it's a really hard game to win. So I think I'm gonna coin out the armor. Makes it really annoying for him because he has to trade both his minions and hero power in to kill it. Plus we gain that 6 armor. And our turn 3 again, we could draw like Alkali to Pain, stuff like that. There's also merit to waiting, saving the coin, knowing that we can just play this 3 into the 4. I'd save coin for like Karen or N'Zoth, but it's not as big of a deal. Okay. So we could slam this, look for Blood Icor, Icor trade, or we could just trade here and then hero power. I think I'm gonna shield block. I value the card. So this is a situation where I kind of want more cards in my hand, and I don't want a hero power. Last game that we didn't really need more cards because we already had plays available to us. Definitely going very aggressive on me. Definitely killing off the 6-2. This was, yeah. This is where like Fiery War Axe is really good because we would have been able to kill off his pirates no problem and be able to trade into the little dudes. So drawing into a Ravaging Ghoul is really, really nice. Probably the best card we could draw right now is Ravaging Ghoul. Yeah, unfortunately, I think I have to Blood to Icor execute this 3-3. And then do I really want to Battle Rage this? Not really. I'd rather armor up. Eater's Secret's really hurting me in these aggro matchups, but I don't like giving up against the Quest Mage, which is why it's in here. If we have the Battle Rage against the Quest Mage, most of the time we're able to pick up a really nice win. So going on turn 7, we have to clear the board here. So Blood Razor's a good draw, Ravaging Ghoul is a good draw, but besides that, we're gonna lose because he's gonna be able to Bone Mare, and once he does that, there's gonna be no way to kill anything. So this is really, really important right here with the Ravaging Ghoul, Sleep with the Fishes. And the thing is, we have like a whole bunch of ways to deal 1 damage, you know, between the Ravaging Ghoul and the Blood Razors, that's 6 different ways to, you know, AoE the board for 1. Granted that the Blood Razor does it as it comes out, and then again, it does it when it goes away. That's why I said 6 instead of just 4. Again, this is a good Bone Mare target for him. This is going to allow me to be able to Battle Rage draw 2 now. So we want to draw a Taunt. Let's do this. Let's Battle Rage. No Taunt. I wish I could have had enough to Blood Razor Sleep because I would have done that. But now he's definitely going to Bone Mare this guy. No Bone Mare. We got a little bit lucky there. Potion's fine. That doesn't. The Ironhide doesn't really affect us. That does affect us. That's a 6/6. This is gonna do 3. I really don't want to attack into Van Cleef. That's not a card I want to take the damage from. I also don't want to Brawl. It's not a high enough chance. Like, we could play Alkalite Brawl, 6/6 lose, we lose. So if we go Alkalite, Blood Razor, Sleep, that's 6, 7, 8, 9. We can't actually do that. Blood Razor, Sleep. I mean, we can kill Van Cleef, but we're going to be taking 6 to the mouth. That puts us within Leroy Coldblood.
Maybe.
Are we seriously down to the Alkalite Brawl? Is that what we've come to? Because if we take 6 to the dome, we go down to 7, and we're dead to Leroy. And we know he runs Leroy, so this is the play. As long as Van Cleef doesn't live. Yeah, we lose. Okay, we had some good fortune in the last game. Let's see if he has the Leroy. Yeah. So if we would have done the attack with the Blood Razor Sleep, we would have still lost. Because we would have still taken this 6. So that was literally our only out, was right there. We gave the highest chance that Brawl would kill a minion that Van Cleef wouldn't live. So there's our 1 loss. I can take it. Alright, so hopefully we can wrap this deck guide up as a 3-1. I don't really want to go 2-2, but if it is, alright, Hunter. This is Hunter has been a class that I've been really struggling with this deck. And that's just because Hunter is really, really fast. It's a very fast deck. So I think I'm going to put away the Alkalite. And I'm going to keep the double slam. Because we're actually going to coin into the Barnes. So which means Alkalite's never really going to find a whole lot of value. So our big weakness in this deck is Bear Shark. If we can't seem to get something on the board. Because Bear Shark just plows right through us. Because we can't use cards like Slam on it. But besides that, Savannah Highmane hurts us because we don't run any silence in this deck. You could tech instead of the silence and don't play the Eater, run like a Spellbreaker. But then, you know, that again, that really hurts your mage matchup. So what I want to do here is I really want to coin the armor, but I'm going to save it. I'm going to hopefully Barnes into like Karen. Wow, no turn 2 or 3 play. We got really lucky here. And he still has done a ton of damage to us. All right, Barnes, rip me something good, man. Anything with Death Rattle. All right, Sarah's fine. Because she gives us a Dire Horn, which is a 5 mana, 6/9. Whew. Town Master. Yeah. Do we really want to double slam this? I think so. I really don't want to take any more damage. It's really hard for hunters to deal with cards with 1 HP. Unless they have like Unleash the Hounds, which is not as popular as what you think. Galaka's good, and then he's just going to Hero Power, right? Yeah. So now we can actually Battle Rage and then play the armor. The reason I want to Battle Rage is because I want to draw into my Direhorn Hatchlings, my the Direhorn Matriarch, Sleep with the Fishes, stuff like that. So this looks bad, but it's really not as bad as it looks because we're going to be able to deal with this guy pretty easily. Got a sizable board, got 2 minions. When they die, we're gonna gain 6 armor, and if he doesn't kill them, then we're gonna be able to trade into his stuff. So I guess the weakest play right now is if he bone mares that, we take 6 to the dome, but it looks like he has Unleash the Hounds. Ooh, the Rexar, okay. So now we're gonna play this as a value-oriented matchup because he no longer can do 2 per turn with this hero power, and we have a sizable amount of health. So I'm not really scared of anything he plays at the moment. Like, he could play Giant Beasts, but we also have our N'Zoth package, which is going to be really, really nice. So, depending on when we draw N'Zoth, is if we're going to Deadman's. If we don't draw him for a while, we may have to play N'Zoth right away, because we're so far behind, because this Hunter hero power is really, really powerful. But if we draw him soon, maybe we could hold off on a little bit longer than we normally would. So we're hoping he doesn't get HP or Poisonous. I guess, okay, attack is fine too. We actually can weapon. How do we want to do this? If we attack, we lose him. If we use our Blood Razor, swing into this dies, this can die. This guy actually will live at 1, so I actually like that a lot. So we're gonna use this Blood Razor. This can swing here. This can swing here. Both of these, oh, actually, I'm gonna even go with get the extra draw from him and get another card on the board. Again, these being at 1, it's kind of annoying for him. So stealth. Wow, that's a the stealth and giving your beast charge is a really big deal. So we need to draw into a taunt. Taunt is importante. Holy shit. Battle Rage is super good here. We got a taunt. Good. What the hell? The hell's wrong with my minion? You guys saw that, right? He was like, he didn't know what he was doing. So we're prone to like a deadly shot, maybe. because it's 1 out of 4 there. We're prone to anything with poisonous, because you can give it charge, attack with the poisonous monster into the 6/9, which would suck. So the alley cat. We're also prone to the, please don't get poisonous. What is it called? The scavenging hyena, because he can trade everything, and then that actually gets buffed. Deadly shot, not 1 out of 4, please, please, please. Yes. Hi, caramba. That could have been so bad. We could have just gotten so fucked up there. Oh, that's actually pretty good. So now he can trade here, but if he trades here, this loses charge. But he actually just has charge. He didn't do anything. Wow. Okay. So Alkalite, Taunt, Hero Power. Could trade here. We know this and this are gonna trade, but I want to keep this as healthy as possible. So I like trading here. This can trade here, and this goes face. This card not attacking, like, get his, like, oh gosh, this card is so good. Because whatever BC is going to be able to play, it's going to have charge now, and I can't interact with that stealth card unless I, like, have double sleep or I brawl it out. But that's, we have the board right now, so I'm definitely not going to do that. So if we draw N'Zoth at any point, I'm dropping N'Zoth almost immediately because we played 2 Sarahs, 2 Mountain Fire Armors, and Karen. That's enough value to beat a Hunter out. Because there's nothing they have in their arsenal that could clear the board. It's one of his better targets. I wonder if he's gonna go face with this 6/6. Nope. Okay, so let's Ravaging Ghoul here. Blood Razor. As long as we keep putting taunts in the way and putting these Dire Horns in our deck, getting closer to the N'Zoth. I mean, we're getting to the 1 in 8. We still haven't drawn Dead Man's Hand, so next turn we'll go with like the shield block. Hopefully draw Dead Man's and then draw N'Zoth, Dead Man's N'Zoth, and play him the following turn, since we wouldn't be able to play him both in the same turn regardless, because we're gonna play the shield block next turn.
Your magic shall not
Spellbreaker, Crawler trades, that's fine. Still not attacking with that card. We have 2 sleeps, so now we can actually kill that card. I think I'm gonna shield block first. Do I Ravaging Ghoul here? Yeah, why not? Now his beasts don't have charge anymore, which is really nice. The only problem to Ravaging Ghoul is if he doesn't play a minion that I can't trade into and I do draw N'Zoth, it takes up a slot. It's a big card. Dead Man's Hand, not gonna use that yet.
It's hammer time.
Could have brawled there, but if that card lives, we'd be in trouble. At least this is a guaranteed clear. Come on, N'Zoth. Like, why do you gotta be bottom 4, man? I think I might even Dead Man's Hand back Eater just so we don't fatigue. Even though I don't think we're gonna fatigue. He's already at 18 life. And we're at 30 health. Discover a minion. He's gonna look for Savannah High Main. Can't play it this turn though. Oh, he's looking for Houndmaster. Houndmaster, does he trade? He does. Can't say I would have done that. Are you fucking kidding me? There we go. I guess I'll go for the value. Should have waited to play the Eater. Could have been a 2-4, but I actually wanted to die. So it being having 4 HP versus 3 HP could mean the difference of it dying when I attack into a minion or not. Taunt, poisonous, that's fine. I don't care about that. Oh man, it actually worked out well, because now it dies. Now we get a full board, we get multiple Sarahs back. Sarahs put more cards in our deck. So now we're definitely not worried about fatiguing, because it's gonna add 3 more, putting us at 7. And then the second N'Zoth is gonna bring back 3 more, which is gonna add at least 2 to 3 more Sarahs back in our deck. So it's really, really hard to fatigue in this deck, even when you're down to like 5 cards, because Deadman, the second N'Zoth into all the Sarahs, and even Barnes into getting an extra Sarah is huge. And then the deck that you're playing against has to deal with like, how many, like 6+ 5 mana 6/9s. It's just like, what? So this has poisonous, right? So it's a poisonous 5/6. We want it to die. We don't need armor, so we'll just kill off these guys. We always hero power. We have 4 brawls in our hand. This is always gonna go face, 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 and face. That's GG. Nice. Outvalued that hunter hero power. That's a rough one to outvalue. We needed it, like, even withdrawing N'Zoth so late in that game, we're able to pull it off, which was pretty nice. All right, so with that, thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the N'Zoth Control Warrior build. In my opinion, really fun deck. Very calculated, you know, having to work out how much room you have to drop, like when to drop the N'Zoth, when not to. Do you need a Dead Man's Hand? Do you have Dead Man's Hand N'Zoth, or can you afford Dead Man's Hand other things to play Barnes? Do we coin that out? There's just like when to draw, when not to draw, just stuff like that. So hopefully you've enjoyed. I'll catch you in the next episode, of course. I'm Robert Warshack, and happy whatever the hell day it is.